New tobacco controls expanding smoke-free zones and banning e-cigarettes will gradually take effect starting the first day of next year. Hongkongers will soon be able to lawfully bet on basketball games via Hong Kong Jockey Club.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great!
And shock across the U.S. after right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk is fatally shot when he's defending gun possession in Utah. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. Legislators have overwhelmingly endorsed the long-debated new anti-smoking rules, including a ban on e-cigarettes and flavored tobacco products. The measures will roll out in phases starting January 1st next year. Jimmy Liu has more.
我宣布議案獲得通過。
The Tobacco Control Legislation Amendment Bill 2025 was passed into law on 74 votes, with 1 against and 7 abstentions. With the bill's passage, it will be illegal for people to possess e-cigarette cartridges and other alternative tobacco products in public. Smoking-free zones will be extended to 3 meters from hospital and school entrances. Smoking while queuing for public transport will also be prohibited. Smoking products with flavors other than menthol are also expected to be banned from the second quarter of 2027.
大家都有選擇權。
Among the few pushing back was Liberal Party's Michael Lee, who stressed that everybody should have the right to choose. Fellow party colleague Peter Shiu warned this could push more smokers toward illicit cigarettes. They tried to block the controversial ban on flavored cigarettes with amendments, but failed. Most lawmakers backed the stricter controls on grounds of public health, but some warned enforcement could fall short.
政府係需要俾條路啲旅客行㗎。
Meanwhile, lawmaker Kit Sun Yang urged the government to give smoking tourists some leeway, citing concerns of the tourism industry.
推動無煙香港之歌。
Secretary for Health Lo Chomao said the tobacco bill reflects a chorus of voices from lawmakers and the public, calling it a united push for a smoke-free Hong Kong. He added the Department of Health will issue guidelines and coordinate across departments to make enforcement smoother. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Lawmakers also passed a bill by majority establishing a regulatory framework for basketball betting to combat illegal gambling, which will grant a license to the city's sole operator, the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Evelyn Bai has more details.
我宣布議案獲得通過。
The Legislative Council passed a Betting Duty Amendment Bill 2025 by a large margin, 77 out of 83. The bill authorizes the Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs, Alice Mag, to issue the basketball betting license, charging 50% taxes on net state receipts, the same as that for the football betting duty. During the second reading debate, most lawmakers expressed support for the bill. DAB's Nixie Lam said creating a clear regulatory framework for basketball betting would direct existing demand towards safe and legal channels and cut off revenue sources for illegal gambling. Election Committee lawmaker Chow Man Kong suggested allocating some revenue to support youth development, combat money laundering, or lower gambling tendencies among citizens. However, Social Welfare Sector Legislator Tik Chi-yun raised concerns about legalization, saying illegal and legal gambling are equally harmful. He cited legalization of football betting in 2003, with turnover skyrocketed from $16 billion to $160 billion in the 2023-24 fiscal year. In response, MEC committed to strengthening law enforcement against unlawful gambling and raising public awareness about the negative impacts of illegal betting, particularly on youth.
We will launch a series of new measures, including public education and publicity measures, focus on the teenagers. We will also set up another news center which will focus on the education and publicity work on young people in the near future. So altogether, under the Pink Wall Fund, we will have 5 education center and support center to help those with problems with illegal gambling or obsessive gambling.
Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
The marriage equality hailed the government's efforts to push forward the controversial issue, while conservatives said that as long as the proposal is distinct from a traditional definition of marriage, there remains room for discussion. The remarks came on the backdrop of a controversial bill granting limited rights to same-sex couples got rejected by the Legislative Council yesterday. Evelyn Bai again reports.
Talking with iCable News, Jerome Yao, co-founder of Marriage Equality, an advocacy group aims at advancing fair treatment for same-sex couples, acknowledged the government's initiative in advancing the legislation, despite existing shortcomings. Meanwhile, Jing On-yin from the Sex Culture Society, a group opposing the legislation, noted that the rejection does not preclude future discussions. He emphasized the key point is to avoid blurring the current marriage system and stated that there is still room for discussion. But he cautioned that if the definition of parents is changed legally, like replacing husband and wife with 2 persons, it may affect the understanding of family. Yao responded by noting that international experiences show same-sex marriage does not have substantial societal impact, stressing that Hong Kong's legislative process is distinct from those in other countries and should be viewed accordingly. Earlier, Election Committee lawmaker Simon Hui said in a radio interview that the bill's committees is not opposing the Court of Final Appeals ruling in 2023, which requires the government to propose a system to legally recognize same-sex couples. Rather, it is seeking a solution that can gain broad public acceptance. LGBTQ rights activist Jimmy Sham said, as long as the alternative framework could provide basic rights to same-sex couples, it would comply with the court's requirements. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
U.S. conservative activist Charlie Kirk, aged 31, was fatally shot during a campus event in Utah, sending shockwaves across the nation. President Donald Trump called it a heinous assassination and a dark moment for America, as leaders from both parties condemned the attack. The manhunt for the suspect, described as wearing dark clothing, remains ongoing. Cheryl Yun reports.
Kirk was speaking at a college event at Utah Valley University when a single shot struck him in the neck. He was answering a question about mass shootings and gun violence.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Over 3,000 attendees scrambled in chaos after the gunfire. Authorities said the fatal shot came from a rooftop about 100 meters away. 2 people were detained but later released with no connection to the shooting. A high-profile right-wing activist and Trump ally, Kirk founded Turning Point USA, a conservative youth organization at age 18. Known for fiery campus debates that often went viral, he was a vocal advocate for gun rights, once stating it was worth it to have some gun deaths every year to protect those rights. Trump ordered flags flown at half-staff and blamed the tragedy on radical left rhetoric.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now.
Kirk's death follows other acts of political violence, including the June shooting of a Minnesota Democratic lawmaker and her husband, which Trump did not mention in his remarks. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
A day of anti-government action across France on Wednesday presented a challenge to President Emmanuel Macron, entered Sébastien Lecornu's first day as Prime Minister into a baptism of fire, which eventually led to hundreds of arrests and significant disruptions. The Block Everything campaign saw tens of thousands of protesters, angered by proposed government spending cuts and broader dissatisfaction with Macron's policies, took to the streets across Paris, Bordeaux, Lyon, and Marseille. The demonstrations aimed to paralyze daily life by blocking roads, railways, and schools. Interior Ministry figures estimated nearly 200,000 people participated nationwide. Clashes broke out between police and protesters, left at least 13 officers injured, and led to approximately 540 arrests. The protests, largely mobilized through social media, were directly triggered by controversial €438 billion budget cut plan proposed by former Prime Minister François Bayrou. The austerity measures, intended to address France's rising public debt, now at 114% of GDP, include scrapping 2 public holidays and halving health spending increases. Lecornu, the 39-year-old former defense minister, was swiftly appointed after his predecessor resigned following a failed confidence vote. Acknowledging the country is in a critical and dangerous period, he promised a profound break from the past. However, with further strikes planned for next week, his promise faces an early and severe test. Now let's take a look at the stock market. The Hang Seng Index closed 113 points lower. Top active stocks of the day: Alibaba was up 50 cents. Tencent was down $4. SMIC was up $3, while Xiaomi was down 30 cents. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar: Euro 9.10, Japanese yen 52.66. The grand reopening of a Sun Hung Kai Properties supermarket in Sha Tin has Chairman Raymond Kwok confident that their latest strategies to match changing shopping habits will spur Hongkongers to spend more locally. He was also optimistic about the city's long-term growth. Cheryl Yuen reports.
3, 2, 1.
Sun Hung Kai Properties supermarket branch in Sha Tin welcomed shoppers back today with a fresh look and brand new strategies. At the opening ceremony, Kwok acknowledged local economic challenges, but emphasized the company's commitment to investing in trends that resonate with today's shoppers.
係會能夠吸引香港人係能夠留港消費。
I am confident our new shopping experience, paired with wallet-friendly prices, will not only keep Hong Kongers spending in the city, but also draw mainlanders to shop here, Kwok said. The conglomerate also stressed flexibility in the face of an ever-changing market environment. The revamp includes trendy retail strategies like stocking popular Japanese food and beverage brands. The company also plans to expand further, with 2 new stores in Kai Tak and Sai Sha set to open by year's end. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
On to the weather now. Mainly fine with light winds. Very hot during the day. Temperatures will range between 28 and 34 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. And that's your news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.